I'm Hunter.
I'm Tino. We're here to drop our hot takes about the amusement industry.
You're listening to the Sweet Seat Podcast.
Welcome to episode 3.
Welcome!
Are you excited?
I'm so excited. Yes, if you haven't heard, it is episode 3 of the Sweet Seat Podcast.
I think they got it.
Just in case you didn't know, you never know, you might not know. Yes, it's episode 3. This is the place to be for the not so sugar-coated opinions about the amusement industry.
Yes.
So, without further ado, let's just get straight into it. I don't have anything else to say, really.
So today is a very, very special day because, wow, I didn't even think about how many years ago it was. How long ago was 1987? Let's do some quick math. 97, 07.
Is that 25? 25 years?
26.
26.
So 26 years ago to the day, a very, very special roller coaster to be at Kings Island opened, and that is the almighty Vortex.
Rip Vortex.
Rip Vortex.
I never even got the chance to ride Vortex because I've never been to Kings Island.
Vortex, okay, I have a very special history with Vortex because we heard about it closing back in, I want to say it was 2019 when we heard about it closing, right?
I don't know for sure. However,
yes, 2019.
Oh, yes, we do have that written down.
Yeah.
We did some research.
We did a little bit of research. We might use our notes. We might not. We'll see. So I remember hearing the announcement of that. And one of my very, very good friends from Pittsburgh at the time, I was still in college. And my friend heard about this announcement. He was like, oh, Vortex is closing at Kings Island. I'm like, that's a shame I didn't get to go ride it. And he just looked at me and said, Kings Island trip? And before you knew it, we were at Kings Island.
Are you kidding me? Come on. I feel like you get so spoiled with these opportunities to go to all these parks, and I've been like,
dude, you just got to do it.
I don't think I've surrounded myself with people that want to go to these places, but yeah.
So yeah, we hit it up before it closed on October 27th. So a little bit of history about the ride. It was built in the former location of the Bat roller coaster, and not the current Bat, because weird Kings Island history. There were two bats. Yes,
there were two bats.
So this is the first one, the one that didn't have the turns banked quite correctly, and because there's a little too strong forces.
A little wonky.
So I believe in Kings Island history, since Bat didn't go over well the first time, Arrow said, all right, we'll build you another ride, and that ride was the Vortex.
The Vortex.
6 inversions total, so 2 loops, 2 corkscrews, and a wonderful Batwing. We all love the Batwing.
I've never been on a Batwing element.
Really?
Ever. I can't say I've been on one. Nope.
It's the best way to describe it is like an inverse Cobra roll.
That's literally what it is, isn't it?
Like with the elements the other way, right?
It's like you mixed and matched the elements of a Cobra roll and just said, fuck it. Here you go.
That's the easiest way to put it, yeah.
Yeah.
148 feet tall when it was built. It was actually the tallest when it was built, only for a couple months though, because it got beat out by our good friend Shockwave at Six Flags Great America, also defunct.
Rest in peace again. Shout out to Shockwave.
Throughout its life, Vortex gave 48 million rides.
Wow.
Yes.
That's actually kind of impressive.
It's Kings Island operations. They're amazing. I can
believe it. Did Vortex run with 2 or 3 trains?
At one point in its life, it ran 3. It might have actually ran 3 when I was there. I don't remember, but I feel like it's more likely it was 2, if I had to guess.
So you think it started with 3 and then they just went with 2 after a certain point?
That's very common.
Okay.
Very common in this industry.
Well, they did that with Trailblazer too. Yes. Now that I think about it, that's something that they did with Trailblazer.
At least 2 of the 3 trains are now down at Carowinds if you ride the Carolina Cyclone.
Really?
They reused them, yeah. So the trains that were on Vortex were newer gen Aero trains. So when Vortex closed, the trains were still good. Yeah. So they used those on Carolina Cyclone as replacement trains.
Gotcha.
And I think the old trains then the former Carolina Cyclone trains then became parts owners for the new bodies.
Right.
But, yeah. Still lives on a little bit.
A little bit.
Yes.
No, the only experience that I've had with Vortex is when I was a kid, my mom would get these like really thick books about roller coasters and they would have info about how they were engineered and how they work, all sorts of things like that. and it like had a little bit of history about some of these coasters. And one of the pictures in this book it like covered the entire, like both of the pages. And it was a pretty like big book. It was probably like this big or so. And it was literally like the entire layout of Vortex. And I could see like all the loops, and it just looked like a mess of track going everywhere. And like me as a small kid, I was like, that looks so cool. I was like baffled by the inversions on it and just the mess of track and how it was going in and out of the trees. I thought the color scheme was kind of cool too. Like it reminded me of a color scheme that you would just like pick out of Roller Coaster Tycoon.
Blue and orange.
Like was it blue? Yeah. I thought it was like a sort of like a light purple.
I would say more blue and orange. That was like, those are the Vortex colors.
Maybe I'm just colorblind or something. But
yeah, and I think like the thing that was baffling about Vortex, and I guess I didn't realize this given the coasters I was surrounded with up at that time, right? Growing up at Hershey and, you know, my previous experience then at Kennywood, most of the coasters I had, I felt like weren't as grand in terms of like, oh, like even if they were tall, they followed a layout still like of the terrain. So it didn't feel like they stuck out very much.
Right.
Vortex was just a huge structure that just stuck out in the middle of Kings Island.
Right.
Like you would walk by it and like you would see the tall structure and the coaster trains going across it. And especially towards the end of its lifespan too, like you would see that structure like sway too, like as the ride like was going,
right?
Which, by the way,
is completely
100% normal,
right?
Yes.
Like that's something that's actually like supposed to happen with some of these coasters, especially like wooden coasters because they have a lot of give.
Yes.
So like for those of you who don't know, that is something that is completely safe. It's not like
that's
poorly designed or anything like that. No. 99.9% of the time, it's normal. I'm sure there's an exception or two out there.
Yeah, I mean. Sometimes, not to go on too much on a tangent, but sometimes there could be too much sway. But of course, that's, you know, considered throughout the engineering, and they know how to monitor for that.
Right.
Don't worry, coasters are safe, guys.
They are. They are safe.
Yes. But no, like I remember seeing like that grand structure, and I'm like, wow, that like is just. It never like occurred to me that could be. I guess like in a weird way. Like I just never saw that in a coaster structure before. Right. In that way.
Yeah. So. Well, happy birthday, Vortex.
Yes. Rip.
Rest in peace. You 26-year-old aero looper.
Speaking of interesting things that happened today, at least the day we are recording, we also got some news out of Universal.
Yes, we did.
So a very beloved attraction, Poseidon's Fury, is going to be closing in May.
I could care less. I know that this might be some sort of unpopular opinion. Tino, I'm looking at you, but I'm also not looking at you because I already know that you are very passionate about this ride. Which I wouldn't even call it a ride. It's more of like
an experience.
It's a show / experience. But I don't have any relation whatsoever to it. I've never been on it. I've just seen videos of it from a very long time ago.
See, I went to Universal the first time, at least I should say, I went to Islands of Adventure for the first time in January. And one of my friends from a Discord server that I'm a part of told me, hey, if you go to Islands of Adventure, do Poseidon's Fury. Just do it. And he gave no further context whatsoever. And, you know, I don't want to spoil anything in case, you know, anyone has not experienced it, but the effects are really, really cool. And honestly, like, if you look at it from the perspective of a show, because that's what it is, it is very cutesy. Like I'll be honest, like it is great for kids.
I will say that. And it's cute.
I mean, as a 25-year-old, okay, that's silly to say, but like it is very, very cute. And like, I can see why people liked it. And I think it'll be missed.
From an outsider perspective, to me it just looks like a special effects show, and that's about it. Like I feel like there's not a lot of plot. Yes. It's more of just like oohs and ahs.
I think something noteworthy too, though, is that it actually just went under refurbishment too. A little while ago.
Really?
Yeah. So it was down, I think, for a little over a week, and it was closed for refurbishment. And then it reopened. So I wonder if maybe during that process they found something and they're like, eh.
Now this attraction is located fairly close to Velocicoaster, if I'm not mistaken, right?
Yeah, it's also located pretty close to the Harry Potter world, I think. It's like, so Velocicoaster is, let's say like from the perspective of that, I'm not very good with directions. So we'll say Velocicoaster is south of it. Hagrid's is, or the Harry Potter land is west of it. So it's like in that. Like,
okay. Yes. So like, do you have any idea, like, what do you think that they might do with that area? Do you think that they're going to do something that's Jurassic World, or do you think it's going to be something Harry Potter or something completely different?
Well, I feel like the market research shows people love their Harry Potter. But the one thing that like popped up repeatedly as I was scrolling through, just like, comments about this, was a Zelda themed area.
Oh, wow.
With the Nintendo
That's interesting
relationship.
Yeah.
It's building.
I guess it doesn't make sense to put that in like a Nintendo World thing, because that's more like Mario. Like it's a Mario World
it's
versus
Super Mario
Nintendo
Land.
World.
Yeah. So, I mean, I feel like that would make sense in Islands of Adventure.
Right. I think that's a good idea.
But I mean, hey, we'll see.
Right. Yeah.
And I think the last big piece of news that also came out today was RMC has acquired
Joined forces.
We'll say.
I don't even think they bought them. I think they literally just combined into two, or they combined into one, not
or at least
two.
they're kind of under one entity.
Yeah,
now.
yeah,
that is
exactly.
They purchased Larson International.
Now, for those of you out here who don't know who Larson is, let me tell you at least one attraction that you need to get on at one point, and that is the drop tower. I know I'm using my finger. Shout out to Erin Funston. She goes to university with me, and she always uses her finger whenever she's making a point. I've started adopting that, and I love it.
I was going to say you have to ride the flyers.
Incorrect. That is the wrong answer, everybody. Ignore this fucking dumbass.
No, ride the drop tower at Knoebels. It's amazing.
The drop tower at Knoebels, I can't get enough of it. Like, when I first went there, I went with Christian, which some of you guys might remember. He was in some of the past vlogs, and he made the No Limits videos for the Sweet Seat. There was one day that we were there, and I remember riding it like literally 15 times in a row because it was so good. It's so addictive. It's awesome.
A related story to that, when a couple of my Pittsburgh friends were there a couple of years ago, there was a guy who was just reading a book on the ride, and he was just lapping the ride while reading a book.
Really? What the heck?
That's so weird. I mean, hey, all I'm going to say is that if I was like in elementary school or middle school and I had to read a book and that was the way to do it, like I would sit on that.
Oh, I would do that too.
Yeah. Okay. Sure.
Done. Book done.
Make it done.
Yes. If you're going to make me do homework, that's how I'll do it.
And then
I might get a little distracted by the ride, but.
And when I'm done with the book, I'll just drop. No, don't do that. Do not drop loose articles off of friends.
But yeah, RMC and Larson, they're together. They're going to be best friends.
Yes.
And we'll have to see what they come up with, if anything at all, together. I don't know if that means they're going to make any kind of new sort of attractions, but I think it is good that they are combining, because they do have very like opposite kinds of attractions, where Larson is, they do have some thrilling rides, but RMC literally is just coasters.
I feel like parks, like especially like when it comes to drop towers, it's the smaller parks that will buy a Larson, and the larger parks tend to go with companies like S&S.
Right. Or Intamin.
But at the same time, though, I believe, as it was described now, like they are still going to be operating as two separate entities. I know that, but this year there's still going to be two separate companies represented.
Yes.
So, I mean, it feels like they're just under the same umbrella for now.
Right.
Maybe they'll share some R&D together and
right.
make something really cool down the line.
Yeah, we'll have to see.
Yes.
We'll have to see. Well, that does it for our Runaway Ramble.
Very scattered today.
It was a little scattered, but it was some interesting stuff. So let's go into our Chocolatetown chat, though, because this is exciting, because this past weekend, from when we were recording this, we went to Hersheypark for the first time this season. Not working.
Yes.
As guests, yes. So we kind of got to see, like, from the perspective of a guest, how we're doing so far, which is, it's kind of fun to do, because we're putting ourselves in someone else's shoes.
Yes.
So it's kind of like our own little evaluation of how we're doing. So admittedly, first of all, we went on a Friday. Yes. It was Good Friday. Ooh, big mistake, by the way.
Yes.
For those of you who may have been at the park or just already know.
It was busy.
It was very busy.
And it got busy fast.
And it got busy fast. We went and we got to the park at opening. We were in line to get through the gates and stuff, and we were there at 11 a.m. And we were only in the park for an hour and a half, because that's all we needed. We've been to the park however many, probably like hundreds of times.
Yes.
We don't need to ride everything, of course, but an hour and a half is what we needed, and that's what we did.
Yeah. And
so we kind of just wanted to talk during our Chocolatetown chat a little bit about how the day went for us and what we were able to accomplish, what we saw, all that sorts of stuff.
Yes.
Yeah. So first, new things, because of course there's new things at the park besides just Wildcats Revenge, which obviously is not open. We'll get to that a little bit later.
Oh,
Careful.
he bumped the table.
This man is trying to ruin the setup. Holy shit.
I told Hunter he was going to have to edit something out at some point. I'm kidding.
You guys don't even know this, but we talk forever on these podcast episodes, and we ramble. We do a runaway ramble the entire episode. Anyways.
Yes.
As I'm rambling, right?
Yes. So what did we see that was new at the park?
We saw there is a new cheesesteak stand, which we didn't pass by, but I've seen it from pictures and stuff. There's a new cheesesteak stand where Wurstburg Grill used to be. That's directly next to Livery Stables. So It's in that Pioneer Frontier food court area, which really isn't Pioneer Frontier anymore. If we really want to talk about it, it's more like the Jolly Rancher zone kind of, because the tables are a completely different color. Like they're all reminiscent of the Jolly Rancher colors.
Oh yeah, all those picnic tables, they're all like what? Blue, purple.
Yeah, literally all of the colors of the Jolly Ranchers, which is super cool. I think that's a really good way to kind of like make the area combine.
Something noteworthy about that area is that it no longer plays the Jolly Rancher remix music.
That's right. That is something that we notice, is that at least last year when Remix debuted,
like they were pumping that audio all throughout that zone.
It went the whole way down even to the smokehouse, like down that hill there too. So that's definitely been more concentrated to quite literally the border of Jolly Rancher Remix and that surrounding path, which I think is a good thing. It makes more sense. Anyways, there's this cheesesteak stand. I think they're called Philly cheesesteaks or something like that. It's very like...
Wow, that was the most on point title.
It's not too creative of a name. I know that it's something very Philly cheesesteaks. It's a third party vendor, which is great to see because this is also something new. We've seen a lot of third party vendors leave from the park. Those being making whoopie pies is no longer in the park anymore.
Wait, really?
Yes, they're gone.
Okay.
I saw some comments on Facebook about the owner. And she was like, yeah, Hersheypark takes like so much of our profits away from our earnings that we should be getting. And so she was like, it's not fair. It's not worth it. So we're out of here. So, I mean, honestly, good for her. Not to bash the park, but good for her. If she's not getting the business she needs, then she's making business moves, Yeah. Making money moves.
It comes down a lot of times when you make a decision like that, it's not personal. It's purely business.
Right. She's got to feed her family somehow. Right.
Yeah.
So making whoopie pies is gone. And then there's also the mini donuts stand that's by Coal Cracker is no longer there. They are just at the little trailer that is by the boardwalk.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Or are they open?
They have been open so far. Yes.
I didn't notice when we were there.
So. Yes, it is still there and it's still open. Besides that, I think for food, that's for the most part it. If there's season pass holder differences, I'm sorry, we're not going to know about it because we're not season pass holders.
Yeah.
So if you're a season pass holder out there, whoops, we don't know the info for you. So those are pretty much like, for new things, that's pretty much it. It's very, very basic things. Now, for what we rode, because we didn't just go to the park for nothing, we have to ride something, right?
No, we just walked around.
Okay, we could have just walked around and just people watched and stuff because people do that, but we didn't do that.
Yeah, no, we rode stuff.
We did. We rode a good amount of stuff in an hour and a half. I want to remind you, this was just an hour and a half of being in the park.
So to start out, we rode the Jolly Rancher Remix.
Because who doesn't start their trip out at Hersheypark without riding Jolly Rancher Remix, otherwise known as Old Sidewinder? Or New Sidewinder, I guess, right?
Yeah. And to think that was Hunter's first roller coaster of the year.
It was.
Yeah.
And you know what? I'm proud of it. Now, before we even go further, Cade and Carter Lutz, I know you're watching or listening to this. Jolly Rancher Remix is an amazing roller coaster, and I know you guys love it. For those of you who don't know these people, they terribly do not like this coaster whatsoever. They think it's the worst thing ever.
And we are going to get called out so hard.
I don't care. I don't care.
It's okay.
Both of them are little bitches anyways.
Side tangent. Jolly Rancher and I have a really, really fun relationship because there was actually a day, I think 2 days before the public opening of Jolly Rancher Remix. And I picked up a shift in that area of the park. I think just because of the way the timing worked out. I only wanted to work like a half day or whatever. No, I remember it was actually the media day for Remix.
Oh, wait, was it media day or was it the season pass holder preview?
No, so it was the media day.
Okay.
And I remember this because one of my good friends, if anyone knows of Rampaging Rex on YouTube, I'm actually really good friends with him personally.
Oh, really?
Yes.
I've seen like a few of his videos and stuff, but I didn't know that you knew him.
Oh, yeah, no, like we're good friends.
Wow.
Anyway, so
Tino's got connections, everybody.
surprising. Yeah. Maybe I could get him on the podcast.
I was going to say we could invite him on the podcast.
Yes.
Raging
Anyways.
Rex, if you're watching this, if you want to come on the podcast one time, just get in touch with Tino over here. And
Let me know. We're on Snap. We're on Discord. we know. You can get a hold of me. Don't worry. Anyways, so I knew he was coming that day. So I intentionally picked up a half day shift.
Right.
So I could ride with him afterwards. And of course, it was in the area of the park that Remix happens to be. And I walk in the park and they're like, hey, so Remix is opening today and you're there. I'm like,
the pressure's on.
really? I'm like, okay. So I walk down there, and of course, Jonathan's out there filming his video of Remix.
This is Raging Rex's Jonathan?
Yes.
Okay,
Jonathan's his
gotcha.
name. That's, yeah. So he's just out there with his camera filming, and I just tap him on the shoulder as I'm walking to my ride, and I'm like, yeah, so I'm here today. And he's just like, oh, this is going to be fun. If you look in his video of his media day footage, you can see me out.
Oh, really?
Either getting trained or operating the ride.
Oh
It's
my
really
gosh.
funny.
That's something that I absolutely hate is seeing myself in pictures and videos at a track. Brock Anthony, I'm going to call somebody else out. Brock Anthony, if you're out there listening or watching this, shout out to him because last year he was at the Remix a lot, right?
Oh, I see him in videos all the time.
That's what I'm saying though. He's in a lot of these videos and stuff. And when you're an operator and stuff and you're at these attractions, sometimes it's really hot out and you probably you need water, crap like that. And there's a lot of just pictures of him where he just looks over it. He's just done. And he's just leaning on by the panel, just oh,
either
funny.
that or he's just vibing.
He could. No. He's not vibing. He hates the remix.
Okay. He always has a good time.
Okay. He has a good time.
Find a video of him at the Title Force. He
loves the Title Force. Brock
we are going on a tangent. Let's go back to remix.
Anyways, yes.
Yes, so we read the Jolly Rancher remix. I believe we got grape.
We got grape. We were really hoping for watermelon.
Yeah, watermelon's just kind of like a vibe.
For those of you need to know that watermelon is the best flavor to get on Jolly Rancher Remix. There's no exceptions except for green apple.
Is it also the only flavor that isn't available on Spotify as a song?
No, I don't think cherry is.
It is, but
for those of you who have seen my soundtrack of Jolly Rancher Remix, I had to get that off of somebody else because I can't find it anywhere.
No. So I believe the song is on Spotify, but it's not the instrumental. It's not the instrumental version. It's
there's
vocal
lyrics
version.
to it.
Yeah.
I didn't know that. Okay.
Anyways, it's on SoundCloud.
Again, we're getting off topic. We rode Remix. That's the point.
Remix, yeah.
Remix was our first. This is all just to say that Remix was our first ride. Holy shit. Okay, Remix was our first ride. Then we hopped over the bridge and we went over to Fahrenheit. We rode Fahrenheit.
Saw our friend DJ. Hi, DJ.
Hi, DJ. Hi, Darren Rank.
Who else was there? Was Nadia there?
We saw Nadia, who's another lovely lead.
Yes.
We saw Jennifer Heim. She's another lovely lead. We saw
Jacob Thomas,
who was another lovely lead. All these lovely leads.
Yes.
So yes, we went to Fahrenheit.
Shout out to all of you guys if you're listening.
Yes. Anyways, so many shout outs today.
Oh yeah, you're gonna get a lot of shout outs. We saw all our friends at the park. We always do, right?
But Fahrenheit was running so slow. It was cold out, so we got to give it the benefit of the doubt. But it was dragging.
It's
at the end. The airtime was floater, not even ejector.
Remember, it's early in the season.
It is.
So
it is.
Coasters are still warming up. I don't think we do this too much on our rides in particular. But I know there are some rides where they'll literally use different types of wheels for different temperatures.
Right. Yes, I've heard of this.
The B&M Hypers might. I don't
at
know.
Hershey?
Not at Hershey, but at other parks.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
I don't
think we do at Hershey.
I'm not
There's
sure.
We got the heaters for candy, so that's all that matters. Anyways, we did Fahrenheit.
Yes.
Then we moved on to Midway America, and we got a ride on
Lightning
Racer next.
Yes.
We won. Thunderside. Go green. Green is for the good. I don't know. So we got on that, and then we went on to the laugh track.
Haha Rails.
The Haha Rails. My favorite quote from that ride is whoops. If you go to the top of the lift hill and you look over directly to your left, you will see the big whoops.
Yes, whenever we pass each other in the park working, and we'll just be like,
whoops. We were the only two on the car, and we sat on the
Yes.
same side, so it was completely unbalanced. We spun like fucking crazy. It was an awesome ride.
We'll say crazy for
laugh track terms.
Yes.
Yeah. And then after that, we went on
Sky Rush, right?
Yeah, we traversed the whole way over to Sky Rush.
Yes.
Because Storm Runner was testing, but it never opened, unfortunately.
Not until we walked past it.
Yes.
It did eventually.
It did open later that day, actually.
Yes.
But no, we got on Sky Rush. We got a excellent near back row ride.
7th row, I think.
Yes. Again, running a little slow, but it's Sky Rush, so it's still super good.
It's still Sky Rush.
It's still Sky Rush.
I think the best part about that was I'm pretty sure we both operated rides for a weekend before we even got on any of them.
We did, yes.
And I was at Sky Rush both opening days. So it's like I was looking at this and working. I'm like, I really want to ride. And then wait a week, but
that was actually it. That's all we rode. I say all we rode, but in an hour and 30 minutes in Hersheypark terms, that's actually pretty dang good.
Our key strategy that maybe we shouldn't give away, but you know what? We like you guys. We'll tell you.
Yeah.
My strategy is always hit the middle of the park first. Fahrenheit, Brother, Remix, work your way back, knock all those out, and then work your way to the front from there.
Right.
Like that seems to just be a good strat.
As like, I guess it's kind of cliche, like most people know about it, is going to laugh track first too, because just because people already do go to that immediately, like if you just really want to knock it out, knock it out. So operations, which is something that is near to dear to our hearts, because of course we are both ride supervisors at Hershey, so we are directly influenced by this, and we do influence it. For the most part, are great. Like everybody does a good job at being as efficient as possible, while also like balancing out safety, of course.
Yes.
But I think the only thing that we would probably agree on is more of train operations. Obviously, having more trains on the track is going to lead to better operations.
Yes.
But also from work, we do realize that there's like ongoing maintenance that still is going on. And, maintenance has to get these coasters completely rebuilt and tested.
And certified before.
And
anyone can
certified.
buy them.
Right.
Yeah.
And this is also done within usually about 3 months time of the off season. So we understand that, it's a struggle trying to get going, especially with how Hershey starts a lot earlier than other parks in the area too. So which is miraculous that they can even have most of these coasters open to begin with.
Oh yeah.
But regardless, I think we still want more coaster trains on the track because that's going to increase the efficiency and get the line moving a little bit more. So
did I hear someone say 3 trains on Fahrenheit?
Oh, that'd be super nice. That's not a tease. That's not a teaser. That is not a tease, by the way. However,
we would like to see it.
Trust me, we have been begging for it as well because I love being efficient at Fahrenheit. That's a ride that I've worked for a long, long time.
You worked it before I did.
Yes.
For a while before I did.
For the past 5 years, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's one of my little attractions. So operations wise, great, but one thumbs up instead of 2.
Yeah. It'll get there. Don't worry.
It will get there. Crowding, a little busy. However, we did go on Good Friday.
Yes.
So that was our fault because I didn't even know it was Good Friday before we planned on going. I just thought that they were going to be open on Fridays all of a sudden. And it was just that one Friday because it was Good Friday. So
I knew it was Good Friday because I had off work.
Okay. Well, so I don't have a full-time job.
Full-time job. Yeah.
Right. But yeah, crowds were okay. The lines kind of reflected it a little bit as the day went on because more and more people were coming into the park. When we left, I actually said to you that the same amount of people that were coming in when we left looked like the exact same as when we came into the park at 11 a.m.
There was a constant flow of people.
Yeah, it was just filling. Yeah. So crowds, could be better.
Hey, good for the park though, right?
It's great for the park.
Yeah.
Got to make money, right?
Yes.
It's a business after all. And then last we have Wildcat Construction. This is so exciting. If you people have not seen Wildcat in person so far compared to the concept art and pictures you may see on Facebook and Instagram and wherever it may be, it looks a million times better in person than it does in concept art and in videos.
Yeah, the concept art really doesn't do it.
It did it justice. Dirty. It's trash. I mean, it gets the point across, but
the concept, I don't know who did the concept art for the ride.
Fired. Terminated.
I don't normally agree so harshly with Hunter, but yeah,
This is trash.
it was.
Y'all saw the POV of Wildcat's Revenge. And like, if you've seen it at least once, you know that the gravity or in the forces and just the entire pacing of the ride is fucked up.
It doesn't make sense.
It's so fucked up. It's not even funny. It's just, it's almost infuriating.
Yeah. Honestly, I feel like even like the recreations and No Limits don't grasp how like, I think intense this ride will be.
I said this the last time that we talked about Cat, I think. The pacing is going to drive it. The pacing is going to drive this thing to the ground. So anyways, Wildcat's construction looks amazing. They're making really fast progress on it nowadays. And so I'm really excited to ride it this summer.
As we were speaking, and you can see this from the road, the lift was starting. Yes. Some of the supports for the lift were starting to go up.
Yeah, as we're talking about it, there's starting to be some lift truss coming up into the air.
Even that Friday we were there. Like we saw them working. They were working all weekend.
So that's going to do it for our Chocolatetown chat, which was great because we get to talk about our own park experience.
Yes.
Who doesn't like that? So that brings us into our last section. Boo! We want more content, right? So sweet spots and bitter takes. I want to hear what you have to say first, Tino. Let's go to Tino for his sweet spot and bitter take.
Well, the park is open, rides are running, and we're glad to have you back. Like literally,
that sounds like a sweet spot to me.
That's the sweet spot. Yeah, like it is. I don't think I realized how much every year. I don't think I realized how much I missed operations until I go back to it, and I realized like, wow, I really missed being here and seeing everyone, both my coworkers, my friends, my guests, like everyone who is a part of this experience. You don't realize that. You don't realize what you have till it's gone. Right. I think in a way.
When you said guest, it reminded me, there is an ADA guest. I don't know his name. I should start remembering who his name is, but he always comes in with who I believe is his mother. And they've been coming to the park for the past many, many years. They always get an ADA pass because, the kid or whatever, like he qualifies for the ADA program. And the mom is so sweet. She's so sweet. Every time they come up to the ride, I always say hi to her. And I don't really say that to many other people because, they don't come in as often and stuff. So I don't really get to build that sort of connection like I do with these two guests. But she's so sweet and like every time I see her, I know that like she's going to be super nice and understanding of whatever's going on. And like, I always accommodate them the best I can because they're just that nice. I don't know do you know any guests like that where you just like, I have a special kind of relationship with them?
So at Hershey, I guess like not really off the top of my head.
Okay.
Back when I worked at Kennywood, I had a couple of guests named Tammy and Holly.
Okay.
And I would see them all the time, no matter what ride I was working. I'd see them at Carousel. I'd see them at Jackrabbit.
Do they purposely follow you or something?
No, I mean, I roamed around the park just because that was my title.
Oh, okay.
When I worked at the park, I didn't have like a home crew or anything.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
I just moved to wherever ride they needed me.
Yes.
But they would ride almost everything, and I would see them everywhere, and I always knew who they were, and they would always smile and talk to me. Like we'd have a whole full-blown conversation pretty much every time I'd see them. Unfortunately, Holly, she passed away.
No, really?
Years ago.
Wow.
Which, that made me really sad when I saw that.
But that's such a special thing, though. Like that you, that's like the unsung thing about being like a ride operator is that like we literally get to see people like making memories and stuff. Like we're providing happiness for people, and it's like it's the most euphoric thing about the job by far.
It really is. And I don't want to dive too much into a tangent, but like there's a lot of memories in history, both from, a guest perspective and like even from like an operations perspective. Right. We have some people who are very, very special to us in our history.
And I feel like most people don't even know that. Like you would expect like the guests to have a great time and have memories and stuff, but we do too. Like there's like specific moments that I can remember throughout working at the park that I'm like, wow, like these are special moments that I'm going to cherish forever, whether that's with coworkers or with guests. So it's a special thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's a really good sweet spot. That's a really good one.
So what's yours?
Well, I don't have a sweet spot. I'm actually gonna.
You have a better one.
I'm gonna edit on a shit take.
Wow.
So my bitter take is ride availability, and this is not a Hersheypark specific thing right now. This is like for all parks that are open at the moment, because yes, I'm gonna play devil's advocate even to myself. So to start out, like, it's annoying to go to a park expecting to have a full experience and to be able to go on all these attractions because the park is advertised as open. So you're going to expect all these attractions to be open, and you're going to want to go on the tallest rides and the fastest rides and some of the flat rides, whatever it may be. And for example, at Hersheypark for a while, the Great Bear was not open. So the people who were coming the first weekend, they were expecting it to be open. It wasn't open because it was still going with ongoing maintenance, right? I'm going to Six Flags Great Adventure tomorrow. Now, they're a really bigger issue when it comes to this for me, because they have like 4 or 5 coasters, like major coasters that are not going to be open. Those being Nitro, Batman the Ride, Medusa, El Toro, and I think that's probably it.
Runaway Mine Train.
Runaway Mine Train, underrated coaster, by the way.
That's another major ride. That's a must ride.
Okay, topic for another day. We can talk about Runaway Mine Train another time because we are running out of time. However, yeah, like those other 4 coasters, those are big hitter coasters, especially Nitro and El Toro. El Toro is a little different because we all know that that's having a little moment.
Yeah.
She's hibernating, we'll say. But like, Nitro, Batman the Ride, I'd much rather be riding those attractions than just riding the remaining ones. To preface, I'm still grateful. I'm still grateful that these parks are willing to open up their gates at this time of the year, because they could totally wait until Memorial Day. That's still a while away. But yeah, overall, just the ride availability for me is just a little lackluster at this time of the year.
Yeah.
So that about does it for episode 3. We talked a little bit about Vortex. And its birthday today.
We talked a little bit about Poseidon's Fury,
which I still don't care about. Sorry.
Wow, I love how I was so excited when I said that, and you're just like, yeah.
I mean, I'm just being honest. This is a podcast about being honest, and I'm being honest. We talked a little bit about RMC merging with Larson. Woohoo! Woohoo!
And we talked about a little bit of our visit to Hersheypark.
Yes. That's going to do it for episode 3. If you haven't already, please subscribe to our YouTube channel, The Sweet Seat. Remember that if you are listening, you can listen on Spotify, Amazon, or Google Podcasts at this time. If you would like to watch us explain our hot takes and our, little tangents and stuff like that, if you want to watch us have our little discussions, you can go to our YouTube channel. So subscribe to us at there. And then you should totally check us out on our Instagram. Everything is popping on there all the time. Almost like, seems like every other day at this point, I have something to post.
Hunter comes up with so
little
many things,
little projects.
He has way too much fun with this.
Yes. So you should follow us on Instagram at _thesweetseat_. And same thing on Facebook. We kind of repost a little bit of those things onto Facebook as well. But yeah, that's it for episode 3. Hope you guys enjoyed this one so much. And make sure to follow us on those socials as soon as you can, because you don't want to miss out on our next episodes.
Yes.
From the Sweet Seat, I'm Hunter.
I'm Tino.
Have a good one, everybody. Bye-bye.
See you later.
Thanks for riding along with us on the Sweet Seat podcast.
Don't forget, we dispatch new episodes every other week.
Be sure to snag a season pass to our podcast by following us wherever you listen.